Hello everyone and welcome to the webinar Making AI Work for You. My name is Kimi Tiinus and I work as a product marketing manager at Geosco. As we know, AI is pretty much everywhere now, and AI assistance starts to be more and more crucial how businesses operate these days. But it's not always straightforward how to get real business value out of them. And that's something that we are going to tackle today. In this session, you will learn, first of all, what AI assistants are and what are the real life use cases for it. You will also learn how to set them up for success. For example, how to feed them data and how to avoid hallucinations. And finally, you will learn where is this technology heading so you can stay ahead. So we have 45 minutes. Let's see how we can tackle that one. Let's go through the agenda real quick. So here, first of all, let's see what AI assistants are real quick. Then let's go through some of the most popular use cases that we can do with them. And then let's see what kind of roadblocks we have right now that, okay, so there's so many use cases. So what prevents us from getting value out of them? Let's go those through, and then we go deeper into what those actually are. I will show some demos, and I will actually dive deeper into our own platform to see how we can then set things up for success. And last, I will share some future developments of like where do we see that these AI assistants are heading. And finally, I hope we have time for a Q&A, but please ask your questions. Let's see how much time do we have to answer them. I will answer what I can. And if we don't have time, we will gather all these questions and we will do this kind of Q&A section in our follow-up emails where we share these answers with you then. But let's get to it. Oops. So what are AI assistants? Well, AI assistants are essentially AI tools that use generative AI to interact with people in a natural conversational ways. And then depending on what kind of AI assistant you are using, but they should be able to answer questions, recommend products, automate different kind of tasks, and complete different kind of requests thrown at them. They can be on your website, they can be in your apps, or they can be in your internal systems. Use cases there are so many of them, so many use cases, so it's better than to kind of show what those are next. So let's move forward. Then, as you can see, it's maybe good to kind of understand different kind of use cases in different teams. In customer service, most frequent use cases that we have are conversation automation. We automate FAQs and these repetitive things that we talk with customers all the time. In sales, these product recommendations, they are clearly the hottest topic there and hottest use case when it comes to AI assistants. And in marketing, lead qualification is something where AI assistants are very good at. And I will show these all in the demo soon. So let's not spend too much time on this slide and move forward. So there's so many use cases. So what prevents us from getting all those out and getting value out of them? Well, we have seen already that maybe the three biggest blockers right now are integrations, hallucinations, and clarity in use cases. What does that mean? Well, let's go that through examples. It's a bit more easier to grasp. So integrations, hallucination, and unclear use cases. So when we think about let's take a customer service use case. We might think that these simple FAQs that we are automating, it requires information from the website and that's pretty much it. But then the problem is that we tend to see that to answer even the most simple questions might actually require integrations already. So we might think that the simple question of where's my order at the moment, or even how do I reset my password, even those kind of things, they require integration. And that's something that companies don't always take into account. And I mean, they should, and I will show you soon more examples about that one. And I just had to add some success cases that we have had in this front already. So we can expect very good automation rate, good satisfaction rates when we are actually tackling these issues for the customer. Not just sharing information, but actually do something for the customer. But in here, when it comes to those blockers, in order to do these basic things, integrations are in order. When we have a sales case where we are recommending a product, let's think about those three things. Integrations, well, I mean, it needs to have integrations so it can get product information. And then when you think about hallucination, in here, it's kind of a rabbit hole where we need to really think like what could go wrong so we can tackle it. And we can. So in hallucination part, if we haven't done the setup correctly, what if we talk about Samsung products and then it suddenly starts to talk about brands that you don't have in your stock, for example? Maybe it just like hallucinates features and so on. So all those things need to be in order. And then if we use this one to also think about the use case point. So what's unclear about this one? Well, we take AI assistants so we can get actual like unique value out of them. So if you are a web store, and in this case you are selling different kind of devices, the problem is not you being able to recommend one product. The real problem is to recommend other stuff on top of that one recommendation. So upsell and cross-sell is something that this thing actually then solves. And I will show this in the demo, so it's a bit clearer. But that's kind of like a use case. So without that one, we might have an AI recommending one and thinking that, did it actually bring value to me? So we need to kind of dive deeper into it to actually get the business value. Then when it comes to marketing, and let's say you have a low converting forms at the moment, you're trying to get contact information from people, but currently the process would go so that you have different kind of forms, different kind of, let's say you even have a chatbot at the moment. The current way usually is that they just direct people to different places. So that's the problem that we would be solving here. So then when we collect all the information straight away in the conversation, every marketer knows that every time you direct people to a new page, the conversion goes down. So that's what we could be tackling with that one. And integrations, of course, when we are collecting stuff, we need to be able to send that to the right direction to your CRM and those kind of places. And when it comes to hallucination, we don't want, again, the bot talk nonsense. We want to, for example, keep the conversation in very specific context so we don't go off the rail. Then last example before I go into the demo. When we think about you having an AI assistant for your internal people, it could be called like your AI staff assistant. Here, it's about the use case again. So, well, integration first. It's not just you as a chatting companion. It should actually help the people. So it needs to connect to your content, your systems to fetch something for employees so they can be more productive, for example. But in here, the use case is that you have people, they don't find your content, and you get an AI assistant to solve that one. We might think that that's the use case. But then when we think about it a bit further, the real problem is not your employees using some content that they find from your systems. The real problem is that they get the latest content. So that's what this AI assistant would then be there to solve. So it fetches every time, it utilizes every time the latest content. So then you make sure that your people are using the right stuff all the time. So these kind of things we need to take into consideration when we think about starting to utilize these AI assistants. What kind of integrations is needed to actually solve the problem? What kind of things we need to take into account so hallucinations are not there? And do we know actually the use case that we are here to solve? So that's why it's kind of a thinking process. Now, I've shown a lot of slides. Let's hop on to the demos. I promise to show some real life scenarios, so let's get to it. Here we have an AI assistant or AI shopping assistant in this use case. It's trying to ask me what kind of device am I looking. Let's put this window a bit bigger so it's a bit more easier to see, like that. So I want a phone. I know that in this case, I would like to have an iPhone. So let's start to ask questions. Well, I'd like to have an iPhone. Let's see what it says. Nah, nothing major. Maybe good camera would be nice, and something under 2,000 euros. It should cover it. Now it's thinking, all right, and then it suggests me products based on my needs. There. First things first, this is solved. I only had like 2 specs here: good camera, price range, and then we get somewhere already. Now, as I said, this kind of repetition, but it's good to see it in real life. When we now would purchase this one, let's add that to cart. For many web stores out there that we have discussed with, like the next thing you see, that's the real problem that we would then be there to solve. So now, instead of just me getting this one, it's way more convenient now for also me to buy these things on top of it. So the conversation goes on like you would have in, let's say you walk into a store and there would be a salesperson selling you these things. Of course, they try to sell you more. So that same thing is now possible with AI assistants as well. In this case, we have set it so that, okay, if you get that package, you will get the 10% off. So there's some kind of incentive for me. Then I could click it. I can see what those would be, what those would cost when purchased separately. And then I get this package deal. And then I could add that to cart straight away. Nice and simple. Let's actually do that. Let's see what it says. Fantastic. And then, as you can see, the conversation doesn't need to end even there. We can start to ask emails to get new newsletter subscribers, increase loyalty a bit, and repeated purchases, and so on. Many, many possibilities. And then when we look into this one, you can see prices. We have products, clear products here that have prices visible and so on. But what if we are talking about services and very high-end products? There might be no like prices available. then we could have a situation where we want to still offer these things right here, but instead of being able to add those to cart as a customer, maybe I would want to request a quote about those ones. So then having that flexibility to have this different kind of CTAs is very good, because I mean there's so many use cases, different kind of products, different kind of services. So it's good to have different kind of routes to go to in different situations. There. Now let's see two other use cases. I will show you the support. I will show you a marketing use case, and let's see how AI assistants could work with those ones. So let's see. I think I have it here. Yes. And you see this one, and I give you the context. I am a Gios customer. I want to ask stuff from their customer service, and I want answers quickly. That's what the situation now is here. So let's get to it. So support case, AI assistant handling repetitive questions. Let's ask, hi, where can I log in to kiosk? Let's start with something very simple. Now it's thinking. Yeah. All right. It remembered my previous Italian conversation. Same in English, please. Let's try other things. So when you have questions like this one, and then when you have answered the same question, let's say 1,000 times in Italian, it starts to learn that, okay, well, this question, I should answer that in Italian. So let's ask something else. For example, we could ask, what is interaction builder? Like, I just heard about it. I want to know more about it. So let's see what it says. It has now decided that I am Italian, but that's fine. I will instruct it better soon. But as you can see, we can already see here that we are not just tied to text answers. So let's say you have instruction videos that you want to show. So we can it's good to have that flexibility to also answer via videos and images. So then we could here show some kind of video of what's happening with your tool, with your service. So instead of just typing things out, we can just show. Maybe it's a screenshot of or screen recording of you actually using your own tool and so on. Then let's try to broadly that it should answer in my language. So let's try this one. Do you know English? Siloso. Well, let's hop on to this one. I fear that this was a very great demo effect with me talking Italian and other people talking Italian too much for this, but so let's hop on to this one. So here we might have a case where we discussed earlier about us having a customer support case, and someone would like to check their order status. So then what happens? So there we talk about integrations. So can I check my order status? Let's see what it says. Great. So now we hopped into the support one. I used a different bot. If you might think like, what's going on? I think it's good to have like different kind of personas when demonstrating different kind of. Essentially, think of these as people. So having a different use case in different bot, it's maybe a bit more easier to understand. So, but in here we are in a customer support assistant now. So in here, I would now give that kind of ID, and me as a customer, I ordered something. The bot will check the system, where's the order going, and give that info back to me. Very good. Now, when we think about the lead generation case, if we talk about the marketing one, what happens if we now say this one, that actually I'd like to talk to sales. So in here, instead of directing me to different places, it could straight away just start to ask them here. So let's give it something. Well, let's give it is, let's give me at company.com, and let's give it something. All right, so now this is a good thing. So if we would be having this specifically done for the marketing people, we know sometimes that forms with many things to fill in there, the more you have, the less conversion you have. So we need to kind of find that sweet spot, that what is the maximum amount of information we collect without losing the customer. So that's something that's then easy to do here, because we can just instruct AI to fetch what we need, and we do that in stages. So let's give it something here. There. All right. And that's it. Simple as that. Of course, it could have other things there as well to demonstrate. I just put it in a very simple way like that. But as you can see, very simple. And of course, if we would have a clearer use case, not this demo, but let's say someone is in your service page at the moment, we see that they have been there for 1 minute, and we want to offer someone very proactive support. Clearly, they are interested, but how to get them across the chasm to the lead stage. So then there could be an AI assistant there trying to ask questions, help them with what they need, and then collect information that needs to be collected. Yeah, I hope you got an idea, and also probably you got an idea that it can talk Italian as well. I need to check that out, that what's happening with that Italian bot apparently. But let's dive into the setup. So how do we set these things up for the success? So when we talk about this thing right here, it starting to show me products, or it starting to provide me or ask these numbers from me to fetch the statuses. It, in other cases, proactively asking me to get my details and so on. All those things are integration cases. But integrations these days, they are a bit smarter than they used to be. So let's dive under the hood. So how integrations tend to work these days, that sure, we can have very simple integrations. There's so many of them that are just straight up integrations in those workflows, and that's it. But when we talk about AI assistants, and integrations. The flow goes that you have an AI assistant, then you have these things called AI tools, and then you have the integrations or automations. So it goes that the AI asks tool to perform some kind of action, and then this tool is utilizing an integration to do it. In this case, we have a tool that has a purpose of collecting different kind of information and sending an email. So in here, we would give AI instructions of where should they get this kind of information. So it adds a bit more intelligent into the integrations part. So we might, for example, instruct that when you see that the customer is into your support content or asking about your support content, then do this. So this allows us to kind of have more flexibility in there. So here we would collect information, we set things these up, that what kind of information needs to be collected, and then this tool utilizes some kind of automation. And then that's one layer even lower. So then we start to talk about these things. So then we have this thing called workflow builder where we build these integrations. You set variables, you have if-then rules. There's different kind of actions that you can do, different kind of requests, and we can do many things with this one then. But as you probably now start to realize that there's so many use cases out there, and in order to do those use cases, there's so many things and different things all the time that we would need to fetch, we would need to do integrations with. In those cases, it's super crucial to have AI assistants that have these kind of tools and integrations there, that whenever we want to solve something with AI assistant, doing these things is like a drag and drop thing. So it's very easy to start scaling up these AI assistants, do different kind of use cases with them, and it's not going to be, so we don't face a situation that it's not going to happen because this integration would require a month or years of development. It needs to be hours and days and max weeks. So that's something that you need to have. Then integrations, very important. These kind of things make that happen, that set you up for the success. But then even bigger issues, maybe something that interests people even more, is this hallucination part. So how do we make sure that AI stays on script to bring value? There we have 4 things. I can see my AI here is trying to get my attention, so I will put that away. So we have 4 things that we prevent hallucinations with. We have instructions, we have the fallback, we have a threshold level, and then as kind of a bonus point, but something that like it relates to all, is data quality. So let's go that through. Here you see, actually here, you see instructions. So we need to instruct AI as if we would instruct a person in their new job. So we need to give it a tone of voice, we need to give it guidelines, and we need to give it instructions on what to do in different kind of situations. That we can do here. So let's say you can see something very basic here, that like keep your answer short, be polite, do not include personal information, and so on. Here we need to be very clear for the AI. So let's say that I would have a restaurant and it would be called Kimi. AI would say that, okay, Kimi is a name, it's a person. So if someone would ask Kimi's address, it can't answer. But in this case, Kimi is a restaurant. It's not talking about the person. So it should be able to provide that answer. So let's say we have a situation like that. So in here, we would, for example, instruct the AI like this, that when people ask so we can instruct it like this. So this is, of course, maybe a silly example, but we need to have a very flexible way to give these kind of instructions. And that's what we are doing here. Usually it can be, let's say, like that phone example that you saw. Here we instruct that do not mention these and these kind of brands, do not mention competitors, do not do this, and so on. The second one is the fallback. So what happens when AI is being asked a question that it doesn't know? So in the past, we had a situation where it always just said that, could you rephrase that? I don't have an answer. And that's a bad experience. And that's something that we can tackle now much, much nicer way. So in here, we can either be a bit more personalized. So if someone asks next week's lottery numbers, for example, we could say that, or advise AI to do this, that apologize and try to ask if you could help with other topics. So then it will try to say that unfortunately I can't help, but I hope I could help with something else. Here we set that up. It could be everything. If you are not really concerned that AI would have more freedom of answering these kind of questions, you could even have like just answer something. In business, that's not the case. So in here, we would have ways to do that. Then I can see my light went off, but that's fine. Then if you have the agent resource, one way to tackle these fallback behaviors is that every time when AI doesn't know what to answer, it can try to fetch a person to that conversation. So then if there's a person, it will say that, oh, unfortunately, I don't know, but my human colleague can. Let me invite him. Or if there's no one available, the bot could say that, unfortunately, I tried to ask my human colleagues, they are not around, so I hope I can continue to help you with other topics. What to do, it depends on the need of the customer. That we can monitor here. Third one is the threshold, so confidence. And that's something we can do here. Essentially, it's kind of a techie thing, but it essentially allows us to decide how confident we want AI to be when it provides an answer. So let's say I ask something, AI thinks that this is the correct answer. So this is a way for us here to decide how confident we want it to be before providing that answer. And that's something like kind of like a part of our whole system, that you need to have these things in order to fight the hallucination. Then the fourth part is the quality of data. And that's all about, like, first of all, the flexibility to train different kind of data. You already saw the integrations. That's like first things first. You need to have that one in place. And we made to make sure that through the integrations, the AI gets good quality data. But when it comes to content, it's important to have flexibility there, that what kind of content we can give to an AI. We can give PDFs like in here. Let me just share it. New stuff, document name, guide, kiosk. There. Or did it take it? Let's give it again. Was I too quick? Oh, it's there. I was too quick. So you can see I was so quick that I triple clicked it. But you can see it's now processing those things. And that's one way. We can give it different kind of content straight away, like PDFs. Yeah, we don't need those. And you saw straight away, like it took like how many, 10 seconds to get this information. And then it fetches the information from that PDF. Then, like us, we are using HubSpot sometimes to store our content. So we can straight away fetch those links from those storage places to fetch that content. So then, similar to here, we can then decide that when we have that content in your system, it could fetch and update that content every week. And that's usually a thing with websites. So when we have a website, right, this one, our own AI assistant web page, if I'm there and I know that I will make updates time to time, we need to have a way to update it. Oh, sorry, I went to the wrong place. No, this one. So here we could just select that it will update it every week, and then it can then fetch that content, and I know that it will be up to date. Then we have measures through those workflows that if we want to update them more than once a week, we can do that. But this is one way, very good way to do that. So this makes sure that the data is good when we have flexibility to use different kind of data. And one good point, yeah, you could see very, very fast. Good thing to know with this different kind of content that AI is not all knowing, that whatever we throw at it, it's not, if you throw nonsense to it, it will throw back nonsense. That's kind of like the basics. So imagine you having a content, you copy everything from that, every text from that content, and paste that to an AI, and then you should see if that text makes any sense. Are the sentences still in place? Is every word there, and so on? Because sometimes you might have a content where the file itself is very corrupted. There's like, it makes zero sense if you would copy paste that text somewhere else. AI has that issue, so it all starts with you having like a quality content. Then last thing from this demo is that, okay, we want it to provide value. We need to make sure that the setup we have made to enable that makes sense. How to monitor it. So we can do it like this way. So we bring AI already also here. So we have AI doing summaries for conversations that it has had. We can see what's AI, or what is the AI assistants talking with customers. We can see if they make sense and improve. And then we can, for example, see that usually the case is that we want to see what kind of nonsense it's speaking, if it's nonsense, or if we have a not happy customer, what kind of conversations the AI assistant had with those kind of people. So then we could see here that they are only 20% happy. So then we could dive deeper into that okay, they were talking things like that, and then we will, let's open this actually. Yeah, someone is trying to ask if could I speak with an agent, and then we could go deeper and see if the AI actually had an answer. And in this case, we could see that we actually didn't have an answer to this kind of question. And we can kind of break those answers down and improve. So let's say someone would ask something about your prices. And then we wonder that why did the AI answer like that? And then we can break that down into these snippets that, well, actually, I haven't told AI that what to answer, but we need to be able to see that what's the thinking process behind AI and why it's answering the way it's answering. There, lots of things. I also realized that how many things I'm showing at the moment, but this is just a kind of glimpse through. Please, I hope you stayed on board. Let's go back then to the last part of the webinar, which is the future part. Where is this heading? So you have seen some AI use cases now. You have seen how those things are set up. How do we ensure that they have success there? But then what happens in the future? So usually this experience that we have with AI assistants, it's kind of known. We have seen live chats, we have seen bots, we have seen chatbots, AI assistants now on websites. Experience is there. We have a lot like this hovering conversational help there. But we can see that experience starts to roll into these other functions that we know that websites have, like searches. So then instead of you having this like almost like an external element on your website, we see that slowly but surely these more common functions that websites have start to have these AI functionalities in them. So regular search turns to more like a conversational AI search. And now, by like not just relying on the filters, we would help the customer with relevant things by talking that through. So we understand the customer, we understand the context of the customer, and then share relevant things with them. In this case, for example, I don't know if you see, but essentially the person who don't have no clue what cars are, that person just needs one and says that, well, they have many kids, so, and they are going to camping trips and so on. So what kind of car could that kind of person need? So then instead of me filtering on filters to do that, AI understands the need and then provides me some more spacious cars. This is kind of a direction that we are exploring at the moment. But in general, we can see that these AI assistants, they become more smarter, much more connected. So we will reach the point where pretty much everyone will have this kind of more like a personal assistant on your website. So whatever they need to do, fetch, perform, act on your website when it comes to your brand, they can do it for you. So to recap, how to make AI work for you. Pick use cases with most value to you. Connect your AI to actually solve the problem, not just having like a chatting companion, but actually something that performs. And then instruct your AI to perform in all scenarios. And like I said, it's not us saying exact things, what to say in certain type of scenarios, but giving like an overall context that, let's say if you don't know the answer, what should you do? If the conversation goes to this topic, what should you do? These things you should cover. Then I'm aware of the time. I see that we have kind of reached the end now. And when it comes to the comments, I can answer like one, and all the others, let's check that. We will check those out, and we will send those out to you in our follow-up emails. I'm reading all the questions now, but I know the time, so we will get back to you later with those ones. Thank you so much for attending. It was great to see so many of you here. If you want to get started with these AI assistants, you can go to kiosk.com, request a demo. If you're already a customer, please talk to your people at Kiosk. We will help get you started. And follow us on LinkedIn. We will have more of these AI webinars focusing on different topics, and we will share those news there first. So thank you so much, and see you in our next webinars.